With the recent news that Final Fantasy XVI is nearing the end of development, I thought it would be a good idea to go over everything that we know as of now. Valisthea is the land in which Final Fantasy XVI takes place in and is broken up into two continents, Ash and Storm. Within this land, there are 5 mother crystals. Each of these crystals bless the land with Aether. For many generations, people have converged to these crystals to take advantage of what the Aether has to offer. Aether is considered a very valuable resource because it allows the inhabitants to conjure magic, and in doing so allows them to live comfortable lives. But of course, with great power comes those who want to claim it for themselves. Thus, 6 nations were built around each crystal. At this point in time, there's an uneasy peace between all 6 nations, and there's a looming threat known as the Blight, which is spreading illness and pushing each nation to war. Dominants are individuals who are blessed with the ability to call upon icons, monstrous creatures that possess devastating power. Now, because of this, most nations actually celebrate dominance and are considered royalty because of the strength that they possess. In others, they are feared and they are used as weapons in war. And in most extreme circumstances, they're considered abominations and are put to death if found. Now, we only know of a few icons so far. The Phoenix, icon of fire, Titan, icon of earth, Shiva of water, and Ifrit of fire, who's considered a dark icon, which we'll circle back in just a bit. Now we've only been introduced to a few characters. We've been introduced to Clive, who's the main protagonist and is the firstborn son of Rosaria. All expected him to inherit the Phoenix Flame and awaken as its dominant, but instead chose his younger brother Joshua. In search of a purpose, Clive dedicated himself to mastering the blade, which pays off when just at 15 years old, wins a tournament and is dubbed the first shield of Rosaria. The shield is tasked with guarding the Phoenix and is blessed with the ability to wield part of his fire. Next up, we have Joshua, who's the second son of the Archduke of Rosaria and is the younger brother of Clive, whom he deeply admires. He's the dominant of Phoenix soon after his birth. Despite his noble upbringing, Joshua treats all of his father's subjects with warmth and affection. Joshua often expresses why. Why him? Why is he the dominant of Phoenix and not his older brother who is much more stronger and braver than him? Lastly, we have Jill, who was born in the fallen Northern Territories and was taken from her homeland at a young age to become the ward of Rosaria, securing peace between the two warring nations. The Archduke insisted that she be raised alongside his sons, Clive and Joshua. Now at 12 years old, she's as much part of the Rosefield household as his sons and has become a trusted confidant to the brothers. Now let's go over the 6 nations within Valisthea. First up, we have the Holy Empire of Sambric, which is the largest theocratic force in all of Valisthea and is at the northern part of the map. Their banner is blue, white, and yellow and depicts what appears to be a woman, and below her are a couple of dragons. Its holy capital of Oriflame is built around the mother crystal called Drake's Head. The people live comfortable lives under the protectful eye of the Holy Emperor, who they worship as they believe he is the incarnation of the one true deity. As of now, we don't know who the dominant or icon is, but we can assume that it's Shiva, which I'll explain in just a bit. All we know for certain is that the Empire uses the dominant as its champion for war. The Kingdom of Waloed is on the continent of Ash, which is on the eastern part of Valisthea. It flies a black and white banner with the depiction of a blue 6-legged horse with a sword and shield. It surrounds the mother crystal Drakespine. In this region, there are orcs and beastmen who are scattered across the land. Due to this, the king and dominant of Waloed has built an advanced army to protect themselves from this threat, and now they're willing to go to their borders to test their army's strength. As of now, we don't know who the icon or the dominant is. All we know is that they're one and the same person. The Grand Duchy of Rosaria is formed by a small group of independent provinces in the western part of Valisthea that decided to come together to form the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. On its banner, we see that there is red and white with a phoenix on it. After many years of prosperity, Rosaria now finds itself in direct threat from the Blight, which will without a doubt cause many deaths if left to spread. The duchy gets its power from the mother crystal Drake's Breath, which is located on a volcanic island off the coast. The dominant is Joshua and the icon is Phoenix of Fire. The Dhalmekian Republic is an interesting one. It's composed of 5 states from which the members of its ruling parliament are drawn. If you look carefully at its banner, you can see in the middle there's some figures surrounded by elements of nature: earth, water, air, fire, and void. The Mother Crystal Drakefang is half buried in the heart of a mountain range. We don't know who the dominant of this nation is, but we do know that they are special advisors to Parliament and they hold power in decision making. We also know that the icon is Titan of Earth. The Iron Kingdom is located out west, which is comprised of a group of small islands off the coast of the continent Storm. Their banner is black and orange with 2 axes and what looks like to be their Mother Crystal. They control the Mother Crystal Drake Breath, which if you remember is also Rosaria's crystal. Because of this, the two nations are in constant disagreement. Because they're off of the mainland, the inhabitants are known as Ironblood and speak their own language. The Orthodox doctrine deemed dominants as unholy and abominations, and if any are born on the island, they are killed immediately. Lastly, we have the Crystalline Dominion, which sits right at the center of Valisthea. Their banner is primarily blue that depicts the Mother Crystal's drake's tail, which is the tallest of all the Mother Crystals. We also see that there are 4 other dominant-led nation banners. Many bloody battles were fought to control this plot of land due to its strategic importance, till the warring realms finally agreed to armistice. As part of the peace treaty, the islands surrounding Drake's Tail became an autonomous dominion led by the Council of Representatives from the surrounding nations, each realm enjoying equal claim to the Mother Crystal's blessing. No dominant makes their home here. Lastly, I want to go over the trailer because it will help us visualize some things and maybe answer some questions or give us some more. At the beginning, we see an older Clive, so we definitely know that there's going to be some time skip. And he has some sort of mark on the left side of his face. Now, what does this mark signify? Well, we don't really know, although it does seem like it means to be a part of some creed. Because of the people surrounding him, they bear the same mark. But what is this creed? I would guess it's some sort of covert operation group because A, they aren't around other soldiers, rather they're alone, and B, when the leader was briefing them, he said that they're only here to kill the dominant for Shiva. When one of the members asks, what if she isn't on the battlefield? He responds, our kind don't question orders, we follow them. But which side are they on? Maybe they're on the Iron Kingdom side. We know that they despise dominance. We then see a battle where there are 2 nations at war, the Dhalmekian Republic, whose icon we already know is Titan, and the Holy Kingdom of Sambrique, which we think their icon is Shiva. Later on in the trailer, we see this woman and we have no idea who she is. Apparently she's going back on her word of pledging her sword to this older man. We then see someone who looks a lot like Clive, but isn't because we don't see him wearing an earring. Potentially it could be his father. To further drive home this point, he says we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight, and as we know, the Blight is an issue in Rosaria. Now let's fast forward a bit into the trailer. It seems like Rosaria and Sambrique are no longer on good terms. Now you may be asking why. Well, if you take a look here, this Dragoon soldier is fighting Clive in Rosaria, and after this impressive battle, Clive wins. They then refer to this soldier as an Imperial Viper and ask, do they really mean to invade us? Meaning the Holy Empire of Sambrique sent these soldiers to Rosaria just to cause havoc. Next, we clearly see Joshua losing control. Then we see a phoenix swooping in, and shortly after, some figure ablaze explodes. A guardsman in disbelief says, a second icon? That's impossible. Now, the way that I interpret this is that we have Joshua, a dominant, who has this dark entity within him and for whatever reason decides to come out, explodes, and bam, we have Ifrit. So if we go down this road, what if every dominant has a dark entity within them? And that dark entity represents a dark icon. So for every icon, we have a dark icon. Now let's continue with this logic. We're going to shift over to the Iron Kingdom. We know that the Iron Kingdom thinks the dominants as unholy and they're abominations and they kill them on sight. Now what if the reason why they think like this now is because they experienced this dark icon before? Now again, think about this. The Iron Kingdom is off the coast. They're not on the mainland and they're very secluded. So this news would never make it to the mainland. I don't know, this is just my theory. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, the reason why I brought up the banners is because if we take a look at them again, we may be able to answer some questions that we have. Take a look at Rosaria's banner. We have what looks to be like a phoenix, and the icon for them is a phoenix. And we know for a fact that the dark icon of fire is Ifrit. For the Holy Empire of Sambrique, we have a woman who I would guess is Shiva, especially since we've seen her in the trailer already. Now, if I had to guess who the dark icon for Sambrique is, I would say Leviathan. For the Kingdom of Alud, we see a 6-legged horse, and a sword and shield. To me, this signifies that the icon is Odin. As for the dark icon, I would say it would be Rama. On the Dhalmekian Republic's banner, we see that it depicts some sort of figure, and because of the trailer, we know that this figure is Titan. As for the dark icon, I would guess it would be Gilgamesh. Lastly, we have the Iron Kingdom, which is a tricky one, and to be honest, I have no idea who the icon could be. Remember that the Iron Kingdom thinks dominants are abominations and kill them if they're seen. So it would make sense that they wouldn't put an icon on their banner. Now the reason why I chose these dark icons is because Naoki Yoshida told us that he hopes to bring fans who've drifted away from the series back. And what better way to do it than bring the summons that are the most reoccurring ones. Not only that, but remember on the Dhalmekian Republic's banner, we see elements of nature. Earth, water, air, fire, and void. Now we could use this to narrow down our search for the icons, which is why I chose these dark icons. I just want to bring up again that the mother crystals are named after Drake parts. We have the head, the breath, the fang, the spine, and the tail. Now what if these combined create one icon? And what if that icon is Bahamut, King of Dragons? Lastly, I want to go over an interesting part of the combat, which is when Clive is fighting. In some instances, we see a wing come out, a rock fist, or a bird's talon. So what does this really mean? Well, remember, Joshua gave Clive the power to wield part of his fire, meaning he could control the power of Phoenix to a certain degree. Going based off of this logic, it would appear that Clive now has the ability to wield the power of Earth from Titan and the power of Wind from what looks like to be Garuda. This is just so confusing, guys, because Garuda represents wind, and we know the Kingdom of Elud represents wind, but on their banner it clearly shows a six-legged horse, which represents Odin. So I am confused. I don't know how Garuda comes into this. Maybe it's not him. I have no idea. You guys can let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'm way off on this. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're always up to date with my videos, and I'll see you next time. We don't really know, although it does seem like it means to be a part of... Okay, sit. Just don't purr.